It's back again, Mercury retrograde.
Everybody panic! Oh my God!
And it's another double retrograde because it will start in one sign and then shift into another, which means it will affect two distinctly different areas of your life. But don't worry, I got you covered because in this video, I will be going over the upcoming Mercury retrograde and the details of how it will affect your individual signs with tips on how you can make the most of this energetic shift. And all I ask in return is that you give that like button a little tap, a baby tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's go. So the reason I'm calling this a double retrograde is because Mercury will be going retrograde at 11:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 9th in Libra. Then it will shift retrograde into Virgo on September 23rd at 8:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time before it goes direct on October 2nd. Now some of you may be thinking, wait, can this be right? Libra comes after Virgo, so how can Mercury go into Libra and then shift into the sign that comes before it, Virgo? And the answer to that question is the sun will always transit on a path that follows the zodiac wheel. But the planets travel on a different path that is more erratic, and at times they can go in one sign, then travel back to the previous sign and then back again. And this time around, Mercury will be going retrograde in Libra, then retrograde in Virgo before it goes direct. So we all need to buckle up for this bumpy ride. Now, if you have heard the term Mercury retrograde a million times, but you're not quite sure exactly what it is, I'll give a brief rundown on my most recent TikTok, so check that out. I'll put a link in the description. But for right now, let's see exactly what this double retrograde will mean for your individual sign. Okay, my powerful Aries. When Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 7th house. So Aries, if you are in a relationship, do not be surprised if it feels like the two of you need to take a look at the situation and restructure some things. It will feel like the areas of your relationship that you are unhappy with or that your partner is unhappy with will no longer stand the test of time if the two of you do not address these issues. So be excited because you have this retrograde phase as the perfect opportunity to communicate and set into place new agreements that resolve the issues that have been lingering. Also, some issues that you may have forgotten or you thought were a thing of the past, they may show up again too. But don't worry, this is just so you can resolve them once and for all and set a strong foundation for the remainder of 2022 and moving forward. If you are single, this may very well be a time when an old flame tries to come back and rekindle the love that was lost. Just make sure that you remember why the love was lost in the first place. And if they are approaching you with that same old raggedy energy that led to the initial disconnect, then make your decisions accordingly, Aries. If they have changed by actions, not words, then maybe this could be the start of a renewed connection. Just proceed with caution. Now, when the shift goes retrograde in Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 6th house. So this will be the perfect time to reorganize your schedule, Aries, because you may find that the schedule that you've been following could get turned upside down. Change is good though, and this is an opportunity to be more efficient, so take it. Also, communication at work could have some breakdowns, so check in with the people that you work with and make sure that things are clear and the connection is running strong, especially if you're in a leadership role. Doing so can actually reboot the morale of the entire team. And don't forget, the 6th house also relates to your health, Aries, so don't be surprised if something health related does show up. Make sure that if it does, you get a second opinion. And if you can get the second opinion when Mercury is direct, that's even better. Now, of course, I am not a doctor, so you and your doctor are gonna know what's best for you, but looking into things and getting all of the information possible when it comes to your health is always very important. Conversely, this could also be a time where you decide that you want to restart a workout plan or a meal plan that you may have fallen off of. So this could also be a great time for good health. So just know this retrograde phase is perfect for doing something that is really good for you health-wise that you may have started in the past and fallen off, like I said, because it will lead to a higher rate of success and consistency. So this retrograde will be the perfect time to strengthen your foundation when it comes to love, when it comes to health, and your professional world, Aries. So make the most of it, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Taurus, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 6th house. So Taurus, if you have had any throat or neck problems in the past, the issue could actually flare up again during this time, so you want to pay extra attention to making sure that you do whatever stretches that you usually do, or if you don't do any usually, maybe you should start. And make sure you take in the type of foods that are good for your health, especially your throat health, because the 6th house deals with health. You want to make sure and get ahead of any behavior that could trigger a chronic condition that you might have. And just like I told Aries, I'm obviously not a doctor. Only you and your doctor are going to know what's best for you. But this retrograde could be a great reminder that if you have attempted to get on a healthy workout system or a healthy meal plan or both for 2022 and you've tried it and you've fallen off, then this retrograde phase could be the perfect time to get right back into it. Now, this 6th house transit also deals with your professional world, so just make sure when it comes to communication and anything involving communication that you are extra careful with what you say and how you say it and what you send in emails, and also what you decide to believe in terms of reading into things. You do not want to make any assumptions, Taurus. If you have any feeling about something, get the facts through communication before you take action. Now, this will help you resolve any issues and even reconnect with the people that you work with. Now, when the retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 5th house, which could actually mean that a relationship from the past may resurface, Taurus. Just make sure if it does that you take your time and get to know who this person is now. That way you two don't fall into the same old patterns that led to disconnect before. That is, if you are even interested in them when they do show up. You might just be over it and move on with your life. Now, the 5th house also connects to your world of creativity. So if you find yourself getting an opportunity to get back into something like a hobby or a project that you were working on in the past, and you for whatever reason got out of the flow with this situation, then just know that this retrograde phase could be the perfect time to re-engage, even if it's just for the sheer enjoyment that this could bring to your life. So Taurus, this retrograde phase for you will be best spent making sure to tend to your health, implementing a strong foundation with your work relationships, and keeping your eye out for someone from your past that might resurface. So it could be for sure beneficial and exciting. So embrace this energetic opening, Taurus, and I'm wishing you a very productive Mercury retrograde. Okay, my powerful Geminis, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 5th house. Now, the 5th house mostly has focus on your creative world and your world of romance and relationships. So Gemini, you have an extremely intelligent and creative mind. So if you find that during this retrograde phase, you feel like you're having a creative block of some sort, don't worry. It is just that this retrograde phase is reminding you to take some time for yourself, to engage in new experiences, because these new experiences will mean new inspiration. It's about gathering information and experience during this retrograde phase, so that way when Mercury goes direct, you will be able to hit the ground running and be in a great flow when it comes to any new creative projects that you have your sights set on. Now, this retrograde could also mean that feelings that you may have had for someone from your past may resurface right along with that person actually resurfacing. So first and foremost, Geminis, if you are already in a relationship, you already know how dangerous this type of scenario can be. And not dangerous fun, more of
Molly, you in danger, girl.
So I would avoid that at all costs if I were you. Now, if you are single, this could just be one of those moments where you two reconnect and you have a good time and you go on living your happy lives with no strings attached. And even a bit of closure when it comes to the relationship that you two had in the past. Now, when the retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 4th house, which when related to retrograde has a strong connection to your foundation. So don't be surprised, Geminis, if you have a realization during this time where you gain an understanding of yourself on a deeper level, because you have now been able to connect to a certain behavior or to a certain belief system from your past. This will be a very transformative realization that can lead to being able to release certain pain and certain thought patterns connected to that pain, and then opening the door to a new way of looking at things, which will result in a more powerful connection to your manifesting power. So Geminis, this retrograde for you looks like a time for renewed creativity, some fun when it comes to love, and some major realizations that can lead to positive change in your life. So embrace this opening, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Cancerians, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 4th house. So Cancers, this is your natural home because the 4th house is ruled by Cancer. So Cancers, don't be surprised if during this retrograde phase, there is something that you believed as a child that you will become more informed about, which will result in you you having a more clear perspective regarding who you are, which will result in you feeling more confident and more capable overall. As a Cancerian, your childhood has a major effect on how you see the world and how you interact with the world. Childhood experiences matter for all of us, yes, but this is especially true for you. So much of the time, growth and understanding and your empowerment will come from finding understanding and making peace with certain things from your upbringing or things that took place in your childhood. So this can be a very exciting retrograde for you Cancers out there, because it is likely to shed some new light on your belief systems, which will result in expanding your awareness. So if an opportunity comes up to spend time with your family, it could be very beneficial to do so, because although there may be rocky moments when we spend time with our families, the result can be major healing. It can mean resolution and transformation. This fourth house transit could also just relate to the fact that you are ready to get rid of some of the things that are cluttering up your living space, whether it's old clothes or certain furniture, etc. Just know your foundation, both emotionally and physically, are going to get a nice overhaul during this retrograde phase. Now, when it shifts into retrograde Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your third house. And the third house is ruled by Gemini, which has the ruling planet Mercury. So both of these retrograde transits will have some amped up power for you Cancerians. This third house transit is one of those houses where the stereotypical Mercury retrograde things happen, like your car may be needing repairs, or if you travel, there might be some delays or mishaps where you do something like forget your ID. But don't worry, because now that you have this information, you are going to take the necessary steps, like double checking your emails, setting reminders, making lists for yourself, slowing down and not getting ahead of yourself, all of the things that you know will keep you from having any mindless moments. It will also be important to make sure if any emotional conversations come up that you don't respond by making emotional decisions. Remember, always go by the facts. Get the necessary info to make the best decision for yourself. That way you won't have any regrets. So it seems overall that this double retrograde for you will have a first half where discovery and empowerment is the key, and the second half may test your ability to focus and plan ahead. But I have full confidence in you that you will make the most of it, and you will come out on the other side of this retrograde being grateful for the experiences that it brought your way. So embrace this energetic opening, and I'm wishing all you Cancers out there the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Leos, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your third house. So Leos, the third house is ruled by Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So this is going to be one of those retrogrades where the typical retrograde energy is going to be strong. So for you, it will be important to make sure that your car has all of its most recent necessary tune-ups. It will be important that your computer is backed up, that you're making sure to save your work as you're working, that if you travel, you allow for delays. Mercury retrograde doesn't guarantee that these things are going to take place, but it does heighten the probability, so the more prepared you are, the better. It will also be important for you Leos out there to make sure that you don't overextend yourselves. This will be a busy time for you, so make sure if someone does ask you to do something for them or with them that you say, "I'll get back to you." That way you give yourself some time to assess if you genuinely can fit in whatever it is into your schedule, and then let them know, because otherwise you may find yourself making some promises with good intentions that you just later find out that you may not be able to keep. It will also be very important to ask questions to get clarity in any communication scenarios, especially if you have any emotionally charged conversations with your significant other. It is very easy to have misunderstandings during this time, so have your compassion and your understanding heightened during this time, and things should run pretty smoothly. Now, when retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your second house. So be ready for some money that you might be expecting to be delayed, and also be prepared for you to have an urge to reassess the things that really matter to you. You like money for the freedom that it brings, and for the fun times, and for the experiences that it can provide, and even for the nice things it can buy, but you aren't the type who is completely driven by money. So if you find that you have in any way recently slipped into doing a job because the money is good, but the experience is not fulfilling to you, you may just find that during this retrograde, you will come to the never again will I put myself in this sort of scenario conclusion. And if so, this is a good thing because you will finish out your responsibilities, of course, but you will for sure have clarity in the future, knowing that if anything comes up that you're not excited about, then you will definitely have no problem turning it down, regardless of what the money is. So overall, Leos, this double retrograde for you looks like it will bring the potential for some chaos initially, but some very necessary clarity, also giving you an opportunity to reevaluate certain things and come out on the other side of this retrograde period feeling a sense of gratitude for all the experiences that you just had and a sense of freedom and optimism in terms of what's to come. So embrace this opportunity, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Virgos, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your second house. So Virgos, the good news is Virgo's ruling planet is Mercury, so Mercury's energy is no stranger to you in terms of you having a personality that naturally knows how to deal with the retrograde madness. Meaning if Mercury retrograde can cause challenges to arise that are based on not paying attention to the details, well, guess who loves paying attention to the details? Unless of course you have a moon and rising that don't pay attention to details at all. But generally speaking, as a Virgo, you should have no problem navigating Mercury retrograde. So the first part of this retrograde in your second house is going to bring the urge to reevaluate your financial situation. Meaning if things have been good for you financially, you will now want to wrap your head around investing, how you can make your money work for you. And if money hasn't been so great for you lately, then this will be a great time to establish a renewed plan on how you are going to strengthen your relationship with abundance. Also know that if there is some money that you're waiting on, this could for whatever reason be slightly delayed, which I know is annoying, but if you prepare for it by setting some money aside, then it won't be quite as frustrating. Also, you want to stay away from making any big purchases during this time. Instead, use it as a time to catch up, save as much as possible, and then come up with a financial plan for yourself that you can begin to implement when Mercury goes direct. Now, when Mercury shifts into retrograde in Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your first house. So if you've watched my retrograde video on TikTok with the do's and don'ts, and you have some sort of cosmetic surgery scheduled during this time, it's actually best for you to reschedule. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm just letting you know that during this time period, astrologically, it could be much more advantageous in terms of a positive outcome if you schedule your surgery for a time that's after October 2nd. The good news is some very positive experiences may come your way that remind you of how talented you are, which will result in restoring your confidence and bringing even more strength to a very strong new chapter for you Virgos out there. Because remember, the sun is in your first house during the first part of this retrograde, which is the most powerful time of year for you. So this retrograde phase will be better spent finishing something that you may have been working on for a while that you are confident about, and you know that once you bring it to life, it may open new doors for you. This is definitely a time for you to reaffirm who you are, Virgos, and what you are capable of, so that way you can continue into the rest of 2022 feeling truly renewed and optimistic following your season. So embrace this energetic opening, Virgos, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Libras, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your first house. So Libras, if by chance you did watch my do's and don'ts of Mercury retrograde on TikTok and you are nervous because you have a cosmetic surgery scheduled during this Mercury retrograde phase, for you, this can only pose a problem if you've scheduled it between September 9th and September 23rd. If you've scheduled it after that, the Mercury retrograde will be affecting a different area of your overall energy. So just like I was telling Virgos, if you do by chance have it scheduled during that time period I just mentioned, this doesn't mean that things are going to go wrong. I'm not a doctor, so the last thing I'm qualified to do is give you medical advice. It's just my job to let you know that astrologically, the most favorable outcome would more than likely be if the procedure took place outside of that time frame that I gave you earlier. Other than that, Libras, just be conscious of the fact that expressing yourself and communicating how you feel during the first part of this Mercury retrograde may be a little more challenging. So if there's something important that you need to discuss with someone, just make sure you are clear on your intention before you have the conversation. That way you know what your goal is, and when you go in, you won't get distracted or end up saying something that you aren't even sure that you meant. Or later on down the road, you might feel like you regret saying. Now, when the retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 12th house, which may lend to thoughts of the past and regrets coming up. So whatever you do, Libras, do not follow that line of thinking. We've discussed this before, how unnecessary what if conversations are. What if you would have done something differently, or what if you would have have never engaged in that experience at all from the past. If you start asking yourself those questions, your answer to yourself could be the past doesn't interest you because you don't have a time machine, so there's no going back to change anything. But what you can do is change things in the present moment by being excited that you have learned the life lessons to give you the ability to choose your actions in a way that honors who you are, knowing that all you can ever do in any moment is your best. And when you choose to not take the line of regretful thinking, then you strengthen that part of you that can redirect your thoughts. And the more you do that, the more it will become second nature to you, and the more you will live in the now where life is truly taking place and where real change takes place. So Libras, this retrograde for you can be an amazing time of building your inner strength while bringing clarity and confidence to how you intend to make the most of the remaining of 2022, which is right on time for your season, which is right around the corner. So embrace this energetic opening, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Scorpios, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 12th house. So Scorpios, this retrograde is going to be a time of awakening for you. It won't be about computers breaking down or flights being canceled or sending the wrong texts to someone. For you, it will be about taking some time to yourself and then allowing that peaceful silence that you experience to inform you of what your next steps are going to be. This 12th house Mercury retrograde will be a time where your dreams could very likely bring you very important information, so make sure that you keep a dream journal. It will be interesting to see what you uncover for yourself by the time Mercury goes direct on October 2nd. The 12th house retrograde can even bring information from your past lives to you. If a person or a situation from your past resurfaces, even if it's only in your dreams or in your thoughts, just know it is an opportunity for release. Release in terms of resentment or pain or anger. You will find that you are more sensitive to the energies around you during this retrograde phase, and this is because the 12th house gives a major boost to your spiritual awareness. This is very exciting for you because it will be the beginning of a spiritual reboot that will continue when the sun shifts into Libra, which will also be in your 12th house. Now, when Mercury shifts retrograde in Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 11th house, so it will be important to know that if someone does come up from your past, it can be one of two things. During the 12th house transit, it can be for healing and a release like we were talking about earlier, but if it's during this 11th house transit, it can simply be to reconnect and reinvigorate the good times that the two of you had together. The 11th house transit will also give you insight into the balance in your life between your social, personal world and your professional, more goal-oriented life. So this could be the perfect time to strike a healthy balance with these two areas of your life, Scorpio. That way, not only will both of those areas of your life flourish, but you can also enjoy the fulfillment that that sort of balance can bring. Also, Scorpios, if there was a goal that you were really excited about achieving recently and you've become disenchanted with that goal, this retrograde in Virgo is the perfect time to revisit the excitement and the action that you take towards that goal, because you may find that a new opening comes along and it could take you exactly where you're trying to go. Also, make sure, Scorpios, that you do not get involved in any sort of gossiping, which I know that you're not big on anyway, so that won't be a problem for you, but just be cautious of anyone who even brings that energy your way, because during a retrograde phase, it can really create some unnecessary distraction and maybe even problems. So Scorpios, it looks like this Mercury retrograde phase for you will involve incredible spiritual insight, some revisiting and realization of a special goal of yours, a possible release of a certain relationship from your past, or even a resolution and reigniting and enriching friendship from the past. So embrace this energetic opening, and I am wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Sagittarians, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 11th house. So this could mean you reconnecting with some friends that you haven't seen in a while, and one of them playing a major role in assisting you when it comes to achieving the goals that you have for the remainder of 2022. Or if there's a friendship that has broken down in the past due to conflict or miscommunication, then this could also be the time where healing and a newfound understanding comes to both of you. And also keep your awareness heightened and observe the people in your life that are always coming to you to talk about someone else. Just know that this person may very well be the root of conflict in the future if you engage in their consistent commentary on other people. There's also some really good news with this retrograde transit of the 11th house. If there was a goal that you had in the past that you feel like was not realized, the possibility can definitely come back around during this retrograde with a different outcome, one that yields success. Now, when the retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 10th house, Sagittarius. So this is not the time to make a major decision like quitting a job or starting a brand new job. Now, if you've been in the hiring process prior to this retrograde phase and your start date is during this retrograde, there's no need to worry due to the fact that the energy has been established. It's just beginning the whole new process that you want to avoid if possible. Now, if you can't avoid it, it's not the end of the world. Just be very sure to get all of the details regarding the job, meaning all of the ins and outs and the terms of what your responsibilities will be and how much you will get paid, etc. You just don't want to feel like you made the wrong decision in the future because you missed something. Now, retrograde transit, the 10th house, is fantastic for reapplying for a job that you really wanted, but for whatever reason you didn't get in the past. Now, this retrograde can also bring some good news like advancement at your job in terms of promotions, and it could also mean the opposite. So I want to prepare you for that, but don't give that much energy because it's best to give energy to the things that you want to happen as opposed to what you don't want to happen. Now, if you can afford to do so, Mercury retrograde transit, the 10th house, is also a great time to take a bit of a break from the daily grind, meaning giving yourself a breather from work. So some time off, if you can, could also be beneficial as well, Sagittarius. So it sounds like this double retrograde can bring some social reconnection, some good news about your dreams and wishes, some changes when it comes to work, and let's hope that the changes are advancements, and it may even bring some much needed vacation times. So take advantage of this energetic opening, Sagittarius, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Capricorns, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 10th house. Now, this is your house, Capricorns. You are the ruler of the 10th house. So whatever issues come up for us Capricorns during this Mercury retrograde, we will definitely be well equipped to handle them. The good news is, if there is a project that you've been working on that for whatever reason in the past had its challenges or did not get the results that you were looking for, this retrograde phase can be the perfect time where revising this project and giving it energy has a high likelihood of it now yielding the results that you really wanted. Now, this can also be the time where you get a promotion, or if things haven't been going great at work, then you may get some bad news. But as a Capricorn, I really can't imagine that you are going to have an issue where someone sees you as not doing your best or doing a good job when it comes to work. You're not a workaholic like all of the Capricorn stereotypes say, but you are someone that takes responsibility very seriously, and more times than not, it's an effective trait to have when it comes to whatever your job is. Now, it will be important to make sure you communicate very clearly and very effectively during this retrograde phase. It could be easy to find yourself in the midst of an unnecessary miscommunication, so you can avoid that by making sure if you have any questions about anything, just ask the person you're dealing with. And if someone has questions for you, no matter how annoying the question might be, make sure to be clear and specific in your response, and also patient. Now, when it shifts into retrograde Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 9th house. So Capricorns, if you've been wanting to revisit some form of education in any way, now is the perfect time to do so. So you might want to retake a course that you didn't do so well in, or even if you have a hobby like playing the piano, now is the perfect time to get back into it. This is also a time where you might find yourself asking yourself, what am I doing with my life? And if you do, don't allow that to take you down the path of despair or confusion. It's actually great to check in with yourself at times to make sure that your chosen path aligns with who you are and what you believe and what you desire out of life. This way your mind, body, and soul can all be on the same page, which leads to peace and fulfillment, and we could all use a little of that in our lives. Also, keep your awareness heightened for a situation that may come up where you will be tested to see how much you truly believe in yourselves, Capricorn. Just know that in any scenario, all you can ever do is your best. And as long as you do that, at least no matter what the outcome, you can continue to walk with your head held high. Sometimes the 9th house transit can also bring up the desire to revisit a place that you've traveled to in the past. But in my personal opinion, I like to avoid travel if possible because of all the potential drama a retrograde can bring. But if you do decide to travel, just make sure to pay attention to every little detail and prepare for delays. So it looks like this double retrograde for you Capricorns can bring some clarity and even good news to your professional world and some insight into who you are and where you're going and what you truly want out of life, and more specifically out of the rest of 2022. So embrace this energetic opening, and I am wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Aquarians, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 9th house. So Aquarius, don't be surprised if you find yourself questioning life during the first part of this double retrograde, and not in a way where you feel like everything is going wrong. It's not that at all. It's just in a way where you might find yourself asking yourself, what do I really want? And how do I plan on going about getting it? And in addition to that, you'll be making sure that the path that you envision for yourself is one that aligns with who you are. So that way, as you achieve these goals and manifest the life that you envision, then you will also be manifesting the fulfillment that you deserve, Aquarius. This is also the perfect time for getting back into education. So if you just started school or you're headed back to school right now, you will have a good experience in terms of being ready to absorb information and reconnect with the excitement that learning can bring. This is also an especially good time to read any books that have the potential to expand what it is that you believe about the world and about life. The 9th house retrograde transit, just like I was sharing with Capricorns, is also a time where you may be challenged in terms of showing how much you truly believe in yourself, Aquarius. So this is a time to connect to the fact that as an Aquarian, you have the type of mind that can see perspectives and angles on life and life situations that is not only intelligent, but unique and innovative. So believe in yourself, especially when it comes to believing in your capability to forge a new path or to come up with something creative. It is definitely a gift that you have, so don't be shy about using that gift. Now, when the retrograde shifts into Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 8th house. So this will bring the focus to your romantic relationship if you're in one. Meaning this will be a time where you may find that your focus is on making sure that you are getting as much as you are giving in your relationship. As an Aquarian, you're pretty good about making sure that you do what is right. So you're not the type of person that's just gonna say, hey, I did this for you, now what are you gonna do for me? But it is important to make sure that the balance of give and take in your relationship is just that, balanced, because we know that when anything is balanced, it thrives. When things are out of balance, they break down. And if the imbalance is left unchecked, then it can for sure lead to destruction. So if this issue comes up in your relationship, also make sure to approach the topic from a place of solutions, not blame. If you feel like for whatever reason, the balance is off in terms of you not receiving what you deserve in the relationship, instead of going to the person that you're with and saying, hey, why are you so selfish? Let them know what it is that they can do and give them an opportunity to have the information and then see if they take action. And if you're the one that is being approached and told that the person that you're with doesn't feel appreciated or like they aren't receiving what they desire, instead of getting defensive, ask them what exactly it is that they want and what actions can be taken in order to provide what they would feel is enough. And make sure you both are specific about these things. You can't just do broad stroke statements like, I just need you to be more emotional with me. Because what does that really mean? The person receiving that information is thinking, I am emotional. So they need to know what your version of being emotional looks like. Does it mean going over your day with them? Or them being able to check in with you and see how you're feeling about the relationship? Whatever it is, they need to be specific about it so that way you can deliver it. And whatever it is on your end, you need to be specific about what you desire also, so that way they have the clear information to be able to deliver. So it looks like for you, Aquarius, this double retrograde can bring new insight and education and realizations about life, along with the opportunity to strengthen your relationship by tending to any unresolved imbalances in give and take. So embrace this energetic opening, and I am wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, my powerful Pisces, when Mercury goes retrograde in Libra on September 9th, this will be in your 8th house. So Pisces, if you are in a romantic relationship, do not be surprised if during this time some sort of conversation comes up about money and how the two of you navigate this topic in your relationship. Make sure if it does come up that you communicate clearly and openly and honestly with the intention of coming to a mutual agreement that results in resolution. What you don't want to do is allow anger to lead you down the path of placing blame or shutting down. Even if your partner may be difficult to talk to, it will be beneficial to face the problem if there is one, because this retrograde is offering up the opportunity to bring a positive outcome. This way, this can be a subject that will no longer bring your relationship any heaviness or stress. Also remember, if you do end up having this conversation, you have to approach it differently than you have in the past, because if it is still an issue, then whichever way you were going about it in the past must not be working so great. This is why it is still an issue. Also, when it comes to money, just know this is not the best time to take out any sort of loan or to make any big investments. Retrograde is best for paying things off if possible and for resolving any financial issues instead of taking new opportunities if they come up. Now, the 8th house is also an excellent energy for letting go. So if you haven't done your spring cleaning, it is time to get to it. Make space for all the abundance that you want to manifest during the remainder of 2022 and into 2023. You are very sensitive to your surroundings, Pisces. So the more you feel like there's open space around and a clean clean, open flowing energy, the better your mood, which means the more optimistic your outlook will be. And when you have an optimistic outlook and you are in a good mood, you are unstoppable. And you know that when you're not in a good mood and you don't have an optimistic outlook, well, life situations can for sure feel unbearable, and no one wants that. You are a personality that tends to operate in extremes, so let's go for extremely good. You're definitely capable of it, and that's when you thrive. Now, when it shifts into retrograde Virgo on September 23rd, this will be in your 7th house, which you know is the house of relationships. So this will be a time, Pisces, where if you are single, an old flame could reappear. This could be a good thing if they're showing up with a different perspective and different energy, showing by actions, not just words, that they have genuinely changed. And if so, maybe it could be fun to explore the connection. Just take your time and really get to know who they are now, so that way you don't end up just reminding yourself of exactly why you broke it off with them in the first place. Now, if you're already in a relationship, this could be a time where an unresolved issue from the past comes back up. And just know this is an opportunity to resolve that issue once and for all. As a Pisces, you tend to let things work themselves out, which is okay, but that can lead to someone feeling like it's resolved just because both parties have had time to cool off from being angry, if they were angry about it, and then the two of you are getting along again. But unless there is a clear agreement and a specific action that both people have decided is the way that they're going to handle the situation in the future to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself, then there isn't true resolution. So use this retrograde as an opportunity for you and your significant other to address any unresolved issues. And this isn't just to dredge up the past, it's to make sure that from the present moment moving forward, that you have a strong foundation and a deep understanding that has the space to grow without any old lingering drama. So Pisces, it looks like this double retrograde for you will have a lot to do with finances and getting those finances into a place of strength, ready for future opportunity and abundance. And it will also have a lot to do with reconnecting when it comes to love. So that way the remainder of your 2022 into 2023 will bring you that emotional fulfillment and support that you deserve. So embrace this energetic opening, Pisces, and I'm wishing you the most productive retrograde possible. Okay, so there you have it, how your individual sign can make the most of this double Mercury retrograde that begins on September 9th and will go direct on October 2nd. I hope you all enjoyed the information. If you did, don't forget the baby tap. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.